He's a poet and he's got something to say, and word is such a valuable thing at the floor. Please give him a listen. He's come all the way from Ludlow and he must mean business because he's got a music stand. Mr. Sarge, thank you very much.
Can you hear me at the back? Without this thing? Yeah. You can, right, good, we won't use it then. So what, after that song from the 50s, I'm going back to the 50s right now. And in the 50s, we used to do things that you cannot do anymore. You can't go into a chemist shop and buy 2 ounces of cyanide. You cannot do that. But when I was 10, my father sent me up to Brown and Francis to get 2 ounces of cyanide. What do you want it for? To rob a wasp's nest. My dad wants it. Ah, tell him to come in tomorrow and sign the poisons book then. Can you imagine that today? That's how it used to be. So, I want to tell you how we robbed a wasp's nest, right? Because we needed the grubs to catch trout in the River Tee. For tea, he'd have sardine and cucumber sandwiches drenched in vinegar. He once said, whilst the dog rested her head on his leg, "We'll rob that wasp's nest, the one old George Sanders found when he cut back his edge." The small spade tied across the bar of his bike, thick sack placed on the front carrier for me to sit, legs dangling, hands grasping, eyes running together, descending, man, boy and machine, past the moss house and the 12 poplar trees, one for each apostle and Jesus, but his died. We stopped near a glact in the hedge. Now listen. Remember their little bums, they be hot. So dinna rush about, and dinna favour out, cause they'll know. Then look out. Look, see that hole? A mouse or mole made back in the spring. Look at them. Watch them. See them. They go in and out. Watch closely. Watch. At regular intervals they goes in and they goes out. Well, the queeners took possession, by gummers, got it out of a sting. I once found a mole in the centre of the nest, or stung the poor bugger completely to death. From his pocket, my dad took out an old tobacco tin. "This here's cyanide," he said. He owes a law, the king of poisons, so I can see. Then he places a lump the size of a sugar cube in the mouth of the hole. So slowly and with confidence his movements are made. "Dad, there's one on your back." "Why, you'll hurt as long as you don't show no fear. They'll hurt." And I watch Dad straddle the hole, unbutton his fly, and I watch him piss a few drops over the cube. It makes the gas. Kills them dead as they goes in and out. We sit in the ditch, him smoking his pipe, pigeons coo, swifts dart in the sky. Wait, we wait, and there's wasps falling into a pile as the gas takes effect. When that pile was big enough, the dad said, "Give us the spade." With expert hands he started to dig, then I see the wondrous sight. From a hole as big as a football comes a home an insect's made, that's chewed with jaws so small, bark from trees and other things to make their paper walls. Dad! Dad, we're stealing it! I know, we'll take it one, we'll bake it so as the grubs inside don't come alive. I'll tell you what, my boy, trout can't resist these baked grubs, so tender to their little mouths they be. We'll have trout for breakfast, dinner and tea, and what's more, I'll take some for our Sid, and others too will benefit. I'll the sack wide open now, my boy. There's pints of beer here, and it's only Tuesday night. So that's what happened in the 50s. So now we come to the 10 years ago part, when I used to drive a 32-seater bus. Because before I came back up here, I was born in Ludlow, I drove a London Transport bus. And I used to drive buses up here for the local bus company. And one New Year's Eve we had to go, one of the jobs was to the Ludlow Racecourse, New Year's Eve, to pick up a load of very posh people, you know. Yes. It was 2.5 hours into the new year. They were drunk too much. I was driving the bus, very sober. They were laughing. Husbands, wives, lovers, haters, strangers drinking streams of champagne, waving flutes. All the men were public schooled and penguin suited, and they were shouting, "The elephant and the kangaroo." They were the winners in a classless society. But I was afraid of the fog. It was a freezing fog, hanging just in front of the windscreen. The terror of the unknown. Less than 3 hours into the new year and surrounded by upper middle class twats. I stopped sharply because the bells were ringing. What the hell was going on? Someone had opened the emergency exit. So suddenly did I stop that the woman on the front seat in the strapless short velvet dress fell forwards. And as she fell forwards, her tits fell out. The woman in the short crepe dress sitting next to her tried to correct the situation. Meanwhile, the rich sons of England had gotten to the wingy wanky bird, and I learned that every time he winked, he wanked. I decided to switch on all the lights in the bus. What I saw was the woman with the tits had blue veins running beneath her white skin. It was a miracle. It was the first time in my life that I had ever seen aristocratic tits. There must be a way, I thought. And then her friend covered the miracle with a silk scarf. And at that very moment, all the men in the back of the bus started clasping each other's backsides. I was witnessing the ancient game of knacker grabbing, a sport related to the old Scottish ritual called groin clenching, which was introduced by the Vikings to the Lords of the Isles 1,100 years ago. I searched for a cigarette. There was one left. It was a miracle! Thank you.